Welcome back, everybody, to the Deep in Sports News. I'm your host, Marvin Gray, and let's get it on to the first topic. Now, our first topic of the broadcast has to do with Chase Caridi of the Deep in Sports Thought podcast, in which in his most recent predictions video, Week 7 of the NFL, had one of the most embarrassing prediction weeks of all time. The consequences of such will be many bullying from friends, family, especially in the comment section down below. He must be held responsible for these terrible actions and will definitely be made fun of on his own broadcast. Now, our next topic, the New York Knicks. In their most recent matchup, the third of this season, they lose to the New Orleans Pelicans at a score of 96-87. Now, the defense was great from all kinds of players throughout the game, but unfortunately, the offense just could not get going. Whether it was the free throws or the three-point shooting or even the mid-range, nothing was getting going for the old orange and blue. And unfortunately, they came to their second loss of the season. Now, moving on, still in New York, the Rangers able to defeat the Vancouver Canucks away, winning 4-3. This one came all the way down to overtime, but it was Keandre Miller who was able to get the game-winning net for the Rangers, and just a valiant win overall for one of New York's finest. And, of course, our final topic of the broadcast is going to be the MLB World Series. The Arizona Diamondbacks and the Texas Rangers have been playing lights out. The series is currently tied 1-1 after a walk-off home run by Adolis Garcia in Game 1 and an absolutely dominant pitching and hitting performance by the Diamondbacks in Game 2. This has already been an incredibly close performance, but for good old Gray over here and really the whole Deep in Sports Thought podcast franchise, because we did not plan to do predictions, the Arizona Diamondbacks are the only team from the previous predictions to make it to the World Series, and so we are going to stick with them. I mean, anyone who's not the Braves and the Phillies, right? But that's going to do it for this broadcast. This has been the Deep in Sports Thought News. I'm Marvin Gray, and let's get back to your regularly scheduled program. Just gonna ignore whatever the hell that was. Welcome back to the Deep in Sports Thought podcast. I'm Chase Caridi, and today I'm gonna take you through my predictions for Week 8 of the NFL season. So, let's do that. Alright, first matchup of the weekend, we have the Los Angeles Rams going to Dallas to play the Cowboys, and for me, this is pretty simple. Now, I started this season being very skeptical of what the Rams possibly could be, thinking not many other players can grow to be better than what they're at with their age and experience in the NFL already. But now here I am, Week 8, and I think that the Rams are going to be surprising us. I think the Los Angeles Rams can win this game against the Dallas Cowboys. The Rams have some good pieces, of course, still without Kyren Williams, who absolutely boomed for the first half of this season so far, but unfortunately, even without him, I think this offense can still move with Kupp and Stafford and Puka Nacua. So I'm going to be taking the Rams on this one at a score of 32-27. All right, next we have the Vikings and the Packers, a divisional matchup with the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings with an absolutely shocking win on Monday night, defeating the San Francisco 49ers. And the Green Bay Packers, well, they just have not been playing well at all. And to cap it off, they've lost to the Denver Broncos. So I think pretty easily here, this is the Minnesota Vikings. Taking Minnesota on this one at a score of 25-20. All right, now we have the Atlanta Falcons and the Tennessee Titans. The Atlanta Falcons head coached, of course, by Arthur Smith, former offensive coordinator for the Titans. God, both of these teams are horrible. Yeah, I think I'm just going to have to go with the Falcons. I mean, I think Bijan Robinson. What did I say? Keandre is a goat. Yeah, his name's Bijan. Why the f*** am I bugging? His name is Bijan Robinson. Okay, hopefully Bijan Robinson will be healthy this time, or at least if he's ruled out, he's ruled out, and, he isn't just, sitting on the sideline with an apparent illness. I think he'll definitely be better now. Just give me the Falcons. Just give me the Falcons on this one. Let's go for an absolute field goal fest. We'll go 15-10. 9. 15-9, the Atlanta Falcons in what will be game of the weekend. Okay, next matchup here we have the New Orleans Saints going to Lucas Oil Stadium to play the Indianapolis Colts. Now, the New Orleans Saints have had high expectations from at least me, in a very easy NFC South division. I just feel like, 3-4 is not terrible, but they just have not played at a level that I think could even capitalize on that very weak division. And a team like the Colts, they're not in a perfect position to win any divisions after losing Anthony Richardson for the year, but had an incredibly close game against the Cleveland Browns last week, which they had no right to be in, scoring 38 points and only losing by 1. So for those reasons, I'm going to go with the Indianapolis Colts at a score of 28-25. Gardner Minshew and those boys, please don't fail me. And speaking of teams that have failed me in the past, the New England Patriots go to the Miami Dolphins. Now, we've already seen this matchup earlier in the season, in which the Patriots kept it incredibly close against the Miami Dolphins. And listen, I'd love to pick the underdog, especially against Miami. As a Bills fan, kind of need them to stop winning, but I already did that once this season, and it kind of came down to one of the worst last-second plays ever with an offensive lineman not converting on 4th down. So I think I'm going to have to go with the Miami Dolphins on this one. And let's see, how much can I jinx this? The Miami Dolphins will crush the New England Patriots, absolutely destroy them at a score of 40-7. That actually has been a score for Patriots games this year. 40-7. Not exactly, but blowouts nevertheless. All right, this next matchup we have here is the New York Jets going to, their own stadium to play the New York Giants. Fun little fact, I will actually be at this game, and actually, let me go grab my jersey. Let me be right back, boys and girls. Who am I kidding? Girls don't watch this show. Well, nobody watches this show. Not to brag or anything, guys, but I do have my very own. You see that Wan'Dale Robinson? Wan'Dale Robinson jersey. Giants, premium kind of stuff. You'd only get so many of these bad boys out there. So, safe to say I'm going to be going with the Giants on this one. New York Giants at a score of, let's see. I'm going to it. It's got to be a good game, right? 27-24. The New York Football Giants. Still Jersey. Okay, next matchup we have the Jacksonville Jaguars going to play the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Jacksonville Jaguars are coming off of a win on Thursday night over the Saints. Nevertheless, I don't think any kind of win by the Pittsburgh Steelers is going to persuade me here. The Jacksonville Jaguars, I feel, are a better team. Sure, they've dealt with some injuries and dealt with some poor coaching, poor schemes at certain points on both sides of the ball. But, I think against a team like Pittsburgh, that's not going to come in too much of a worrisome kind of dilemma for them. I think, at least for this week, I could safely take the Jacksonville Jaguars at a score of 32-17. All right, the Philadelphia Eagles going to play the Commanders. I do need a stupid pick this week. Commies at home played the Eagles very well in their last matchup. Maybe the Eagles are still living off that high from last week, defeating the Dolphins, and Jalen Hurts, he will be playing, and they are really trying to brush off this injury that he had during the Dolphins game. But who knows? Maybe it lingers. Maybe the strong Washington front seven can do something about it, and no one else is going to pick them, so why don't I? I'm going to take the Commanders on this one at a score of 25-22. All right, next matchup, the Okay, our next matchup, we've got the Cleveland Browns going to Seattle to play the Seahawks. Now, both of these teams have had some tough tough losses, but some good wins as well. The Browns defeating the 49ers while also losing to the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Seattle Seahawks having some nice wins over teams like the Lions, then losing in embarrassing fashion to the Bengals on last second drive there. Geno Smith could not be the quarterback in the heat of the moment that Seattle needed. But, at least they have a quarterback, unlike whatever the hell's happening in Cleveland. So I think I'm going to take the Seattle Seahawks on this one. Defense is great for Cleveland. Could be a close game. Could even go the other way. But I'm going to stick with the Seahawks, and I'm going to take them at a score of 18 to 12. All right, next matchup here we have the Kansas City Chiefs going to Mile High to play the Denver Broncos. Projected to have a weather forecast of snow and a real messy kind of game. So a lot of people are, leaning, it could go either way. Maybe the Broncos could see benefit, but I think that's pretty fucking crazy. I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs still. And, the Chiefs, not going to doubt them. It could be snow, it could be rain, they could be playing against literal lightning. I think they're still going to win. And just for the sake of people thinking the Broncos are going to win, let's make it a score of 35 to 14. Kansas City. Still hate them, though. Still very much have disdain for them. Okay. Little Battle of the Birds matchup. The Baltimore Ravens and the Arizona Cardinals. This is one of those games that I am very confident in, and then all of a sudden, the upset of the century, the Arizona Cardinals destroy the Baltimore Ravens. But that doesn't mean I'm still not going to let that bait attempt to happen. I'm going to take the Baltimore Ravens on this one, just the better, well-rounded team, better quarterback, I don't know why that didn't click, better quarterback, better offense, better everything. So, the Baltimore Ravens at a score of Arizona still stays in close games, though. Score of 34 to 28. 34 to 28, the Ravens. Last afternoon matchup here, the Cincinnati Bengals play the San Francisco 49ers. And listen, the Cincinnati Bengals have not had a great season. But the San Francisco 49ers have had a worse last couple of weeks. Losing close games, having your quarterback Brock Purdy, who I've said multiple times just has to be at a competence average to above average level to keep this train moving, but with injuries to the team, there's been some flashes of a not great quarterback, at least from just these recent performances by Purdy. And of course, you want to talk about bad performances by a quarterback, since he knows all about that this season. Nevertheless, I always lose when I pick the Bengals, man. I always, I got like Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, even Joe Burrow. I got all like these kinds of Bengals across my fantasy teams, and every time I choose them, they lose. All right. I'm gonna pick the Niners. I'm gonna pick the Niners to play a really good game and shut down the Bengals offense. I'm gonna take the San Francisco 49ers at a score of 28 to 3. Whatever, you get it. The game will be waiting all Sunday for Sunday Night Football. The Chicago Bears go to SoFi Stadium to play the Los Angeles Chargers. And listen, the Chargers have not been great. Even with Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen, the great defense with Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa in the front four. They just haven't been able to get it done. Whether that be good opponents, whether that be just bad coaching and formations of this team, I really don't have faith in them. And I've said it since before the season, all the inconsistencies that have been with this team throughout the most recent history of theirs and also this current regime. And listen, if there was one story that impressed the hell out of everybody in the football fandom, it was... Hold on, I'm going to go up to check this guy's name. Tyson Bagent, that's who the quarterback is. Strictly professional. Clearly know what we're talking about here at the Deep in Sports Style podcast. Please make sure to like and subscribe if you want key information like that. So the new quarterback for the Bears, Tyson Bagent, he has played very well in the ample opportunity and time that he's had. And listen, I think that this could be a big statement in front of the Sunday Night Lights against a defense that can come to play sometimes in the Chargers. I think a win like this can really, really make some heads scratch and maybe potentially think about who should be starting games for the Chicago Bears. Could this all blow up in his face and he could play like sugar honey iced tea? Yes, maybe. But I'm not going to think that way. I'm going to think that Tyson Bagent has got it in the bag. And the Chicago Bears are going to win this one. The Chicago Bears at a score of 25 to 16. Yeah. Let's go Bears. What? My God, what a Monday night. The Raiders go to Detroit to play the Lions. I mean, you want to talk about rookie quarterbacks and all that. The Raiders, Aiden O'Connell and Jimmy G, whoever the hell was playing for the Raiders, you don't care. The Lions should win. They definitely need to bounce back after that embarrassing loss against the Baltimore Ravens. And this is the perfect team to just show why Detroit still has that oomph offensively, defensively. You know, Dan Campbell, all of these facets of the team that have been so good up until last week for Detroit. I think they're definitely going to be able to at least showcase that once again and get more people back on the Detroit train against the Raiders. I'm taking the Detroit Lions on this one at a score of, let's end it out with a blowout, 37 to 7. Yeah, 37 to 7. The Detroit Lions. And that is going to do it for this week's episode of the Deep in Sports Stuff podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed, and make sure to like, subscribe, comment, anything that you enjoyed this week, anything you'd want to add, talking about different sports and whatnot. Yeah, it's about all that I have to say. So, I'm Chase Caridi, and this is the Deep in Sports Stuff podcast.